Hello everyone and welcome to Get Organized HQ 2024. My name is Melanie Renee and I am a recovering hoarder. I used to be a level 4 hoarder, now I am a level 1. And on my YouTube channel, I share the mindset behind all the stuff. I also give decluttering tips and tricks that work for everyone. I also want to thank Laura and Tasha for inviting me back to Get Organized HQ. That way I can share with all of you guys, how do you declutter when everything sparks joy? As a recovering hoarder, I am the extreme case of having difficulty decluttering stuff in my home because every item that came through my front door, I attached an emotional story to it. I had such difficulty letting go of anything. And when the KonMari method first came out, I really struggled with that too, because she had said, look at the pile of stuff and pick out what sparks joy first. Well, I couldn't do it because literally everything sparked joy. I was already so overwhelmed by the amount of stuff in the category that I had because I was a level 4 hoarder that it felt almost impossible. How can I possibly make a decision when everything was internally sparking joy for me? And I just kind of gave up. But I knew deep down inside of me, I wanted to change. I didn't want to live like this. I didn't want to have so much clutter in my home. I wanted to change for my family, but especially my kids. And that's when I realized that I could declutter, but I had to use different decluttering strategies that would work for me, someone who was emotionally attached to a lot of items. And these are the tools and tricks that help me. Number 1 is going to be pick a small section at a time to declutter. This is what I call baby step decluttering. You can pick a box, you can pick a drawer, you can even pick a small section or a corner. Whatever feels comfortable to you. This is a lot less overwhelming because you have a lesser amount of stuff to make decisions on. It's also breaking it down into small, achievable tasks. That way you are more successful to declutter this box or this drawer or this container in one session. A lot of times we feel like we have to declutter the entire room or the entire house in one day. And we don't have to put that type of pressure on ourselves. We can give ourselves grace. It is okay if we just declutter the one box in front of us. It's better that we're breaking it down into small, achievable tasks so that we set ourselves up for future successful decluttering sessions. Now, once you've designated what drawer or box or corner that you're going to clean out, I want you to scan everything in that section. And I want you to first pick out what does not spark joy. What is the easiest thing that I can let go of? And I want you to pick up that item and put it to the side. Then I want you to continue on. What is the second easiest thing that I can declutter and let go of? And continue that process until you have let go of everything that you feel like you can confidently let go of. If there is still a lot of stuff that you want to hold on to, that's okay. I am speaking from someone who was a level 4 hoarder. When I first started in that drawer, there was only 3 things that I could confidently let go of. And I want you to know that that was okay. I congratulated myself that I was able to let go of 3 things. And then I just closed the drawer and started it back up the next day. What this is doing is that it is reconditioning my nervous system that I am still safe if I declutter. That decluttering is an enjoyable process because I am not forcing myself to let go of anything that I am not emotionally ready to let go of. Because if I force myself to throw things out, what's going to happen is I'm going to regress. My nervous system is going to be like, I don't like this. This isn't fun. This is stressful and this is overwhelming. So I'm either not going to declutter at all, or I could regress back into hoarding. Now, a majority of you watching this probably don't have hoarding disorder, but the key to this is that whatever you declutter, whether it's 3 things, half the drawer, or even the entire drawer, no matter what the amount looks like, I want you to congratulate yourself, because this is a positive experience. And what have I found is that over time, as I positively let go of stuff that I felt confident in, I started to declutter more and more and more over time with each decluttering session, because it became an enjoyable experience. Now that we had started with our baby step decluttering, we only let go of what doesn't spark joy, and we congratulated ourselves for what we did let go of. These are the beginning steps of what I call emotional decluttering. I had tried logical decluttering my entire life. I think I got every worksheet and every workbook, and I really tried to follow the strategies and the steps to letting go. The problem was it never worked for me because I was emotionally attached to everything. I couldn't look at the items logically. I know that I didn't need 100 pairs of shoes over the past 2 decades that I had saved them. I knew this. I knew I wasn't going to wear it every day. That's not why I held on to them. I held on to them because it told an emotional story beneath of it. There was feelings and emotions that I had attached to the items, and I did not want to throw them away, even if I wasn't going to wear them in the foreseeable future. It didn't matter. I just had a tight grip onto the shoes. But what I realized was that I attached some sort of an emotional scale to each pair of shoes or any item in the house. And when I recognized that I gave it an emotional value, I started to make the decision on what that value was. And I created an emotional scale from 1 to 10. 1 being there's no joy. There's no joy. I can actually logically let this go. And 10 being there is a lot of joy being sparked here. We are not even going to try to make a decision to let it go. We automatically keep it. And as I picked up each individual pair of shoes, I wanted to see where was it registering in this emotional scale. I knew if it was a 1 to 3, I could easily let it go and congratulate myself for doing so. If it was an 8 to 10 registering, I didn't second guess it. I allowed myself to keep it immediately. But when it fell in between the 4 and the 7 range, I knew that I had to dig a little deeper. Why was this emotion being triggered that I felt the need to hold on to these pair of shoes? And I allowed myself to process those emotions and try to figure out why was I holding on to it. And no matter what the decision was that I made in the end, whether I kept it or let it go, I allowed myself that grace. I allowed myself to truthfully make that authentic decision without guilting myself or shaming myself. Again, it is important that we are keeping our nervous system calm and regulating. And that's why I allowed myself to make the authentic decision of, I don't want to let it go, or you know what, I can. Because when I made that decision with my heart, I knew that I made the right decision, and my nervous system felt that, and it was reinforcing that positive experience of I can declutter. Declutter is positive, and I'm never going to be forced outside of my comfort zone. So that's why I'm going to continue the patterns of decluttering and registering into myself as to what is this emotionally processing it? Is it a 1? Is it a 3? Is it a 6? Or is it a 10? And because I did that with each and every item, I was very successful in letting items go and never regretting that decision. Now that I had this emotional scale intact, I was making the decisions emotionally within myself. I took it to another level. And this honestly was the catalyst that had helped me truly recover in my hoarding disorder. I was aware that everything sparked joy for me. I was aware that I had created an emotional story to every item that came into my home. It was self-soothing to my nervous system. And what I had done was that I had created this behavior of saving and hoarding everything. And because I had done this behavior of saving and hoarding for the majority of my life, it made my nervous system register that when I panic or when something bad happens, I know what to do. I'm going to save, I'm going to hoard, and that's what's going to rescue us. This behavior basically became my personality trait. But what I recognized was that beneath every behavior, there is a feeling. And beneath every feeling, there is a need. We need to meet the need. This doesn't even have to go to decluttering. This could be any struggle you have in your life. What is the behavior? What is that feeling? Because that feeling is being triggered by a need. That is the root. That's why we're doing it. That's why we are holding on to everything and having difficulty decluttering. Because once we discover the need underneath the feeling, that's where the healing and the emotional release occurs. And I have a video clip of one of my YouTube videos explaining that process of working through the emotions. Okay, sorry there's a cord in the front, but that's what's powering the lights over here. So I kind of have to keep them on. So trash. I noticed that this bag and also this bag is trash. And this is something that's pretty common, right? A lot of hoarders will hold on to trash for a multitude of reasons, but a lot of times it's because we can see the potential in it. We want to save it, right? I can use this to wrap up something really fragile and keep it out of a landfill. I mean, it can go on and on. But as I said before, beneath every behavior, there is a feeling. And beneath every feeling, there is a need. So let's meet the need. What is that? Why did I used to feel that I had to hold on to trash? Because I could make it into treasure again. I didn't want to throw it out. I felt bad. But if we dig even deeper, where that really stems from is from my childhood trauma of being bullied in middle school, really bad. And the kids treated me like trash. They treated me like trash. But I knew the treasure of who I was inside because I knew I was such a good person. I was nice to everyone. I was giving. I was loving. And I couldn't understand why I was being treated like trash. So for me to hold on to trash was kind of a representation of that in the, you're not trash. I'll turn you into treasure. I can turn you back into being something loved. It was self-soothing, that inner child. And I never really knew that because I didn't have words to put to that. But now we know that. We know that that's the need. The need was self-soothing, the inner child trauma. And now I can finally separate myself from the trash because I'm not trash. And trash is inanimate. It doesn't have any feelings. It doesn't feel that it's being thrown away. And I can finally separate it. And to meet the need, I'm going to Tell my inner child, tell that 6th and 7th and 8th grader that you're not trash. You're beautiful. You're a great person. You really have a big heart. And to be honest, those kids were probably going through their own stuff. And because you were so nice and never talked back and never stuck up for yourself, they just kept at you because you were an easy target. They knew that you weren't going to say anything back because I didn't want to hurt them back. I didn't want to treat them the way they were treating me. I didn't want to hurt somebody else the way they were hurting me. That's the need. That's where we need to be. So now we can finally see why. Why did we hold on to the trash? It was deeper. It was more than that. It was more than just we want to save it out of a landfill. It was something at the root. And now that we can identify it, we know that we can finally let go of the trash. Here we go. Sentimental stuff already. This is pool stuff. It's been in the back. And of course, it's going to be from when they were younger. Like this little blow-ups. It was part of a slip and slide, but they were very little. They probably could still play with this. But their little kickboard, no, that's too small. Oh, the feels. This was Tyler's. They can't use it, right? And I know that logically we have to give it away. It's still the boys, and I'll let them have the final decision, which I think they'll say yes. But there's still emotional attachments to it. Have the feels. But again, we're still kind of early on in the declutter that I'm feeling okay as much as I'm feeling these feelings and I'm processing it to be like, guess what? We can definitely let some of this stuff go. I mean, oh my gosh, some of it's like brand new and the gosh darn thing. We could put them right in the yard sale. Like this one is an obvious yes. It was never opened. Oh my God, when Dollar Tree or Dollar General was still like $1 for most things. Like these are things we can throw into the yard sale. Oh my gosh, but maybe I'll keep their big, this actually they could use now. So this is a keep. Big donut float. This they can actually keep, so that makes me feel good. But again, I'm allowing myself to kind of process those internal emotions in the sense that what is the feeling beneath the need? Why am I feeling like I need to hold on to it? Oh yeah, I'm still kind of mourning all those miscarriages I had. I feel like I should have had a child now who could be enjoying these things. And I feel like she is still kind of almost with me, if that makes sense. If you know, I feel like she's still with me, and I feel like I'm giving away things that were supposed to belong to this child who is not here. So that's the need underneath. So as I work through that, as I talk through it, as we kind of like process these emotions to release it, I feel a lot better letting some of these things go, but also allowing myself to keep 1 or 2 of some of those items just so I can continue decluttering. The reason why this process is so important and helpful is because it starts to untether those emotional feelings that are sparking the joy to the item. You can finally start to separate the two. You can detach that emotion to the item. And once I got to that space, realizing why I was holding on to it, I knew that I could let it go. I knew that I could transfer the joy to somebody else. That really helped me in starting to let go. Because once I finally detached my emotions from that item, I felt free. I felt free to donate it, to trash it, to give it away, to release it from my home. And I gave thanks to it. I gave thanks to the item for being in my life. I was grateful for when it was here and the usefulness and the resourcefulness and the happiness that it brought me. But now that time is done. That season is done. I can let it go. But I especially love transferring the joy to somebody else because that really gives me that satisfaction of I'm doing good. someone else is going to be blessed by this item. Another family is going to enjoy it. And that gave me another sense of closure. Now, since we're also still emotionally decluttering, another huge thing that I had was positive reinforcement after I had a tossy pile and decluttered items out of my home. What was happening on my YouTube channel is as I was expressing all the emotions that I had to the stuff, and I would show my pile that I was letting go of, I was getting so many wonderful, beautiful, encouraging comments of way to go. You did good. That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Man, that felt good. That was another emotional reward to letting go of stuff, that positive reinforcement. So I want you to be able to find a friend, a family member, somebody, even me. If you let go of something, I want to tell you how proud I am for it. I want to tell you that I am so proud, and I know that you can do it and that you did a wonderful job. It is that positive reinforcement that will encourage us to continue decluttering and letting go of items in our home. And these are all the tips and tricks that helped me to finally declutter when everything sparked joy. I know that you guys can do it too. I'm encouraging you. You can absolutely clean out your homes. You can absolutely clear out the clutter with confidence. And my hope and my prayer is that this video motivated and encouraged you to clean, declutter, and let something go in your home today too.